John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by West Virginia SportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
All right, welcome to the latest and greatest edition of the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. I am loving the new intro. I've been out a couple weeks. That is fancy. It's got everything going for it. Good job to the production on that. Very excited to bring the show this week. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined this week by Kyle Carrington, Matthew Lumsden, Jonathan Edwards, and of course, the Godzilla of truth himself, John Fredericks, who I didn't even know if you were here. You just creep in right when I'm in the intro. I love it. I love the new intro. Some people call this the dead time of sports. I call it the best weekend of sports. We have the Masters, which rivals the first weekend of the NCAA March Madness tournament for me. We've also have Major League Baseball rolling in. NHL playoffs is right around the corner. NBA playoffs right around the corner. We might not touch on that too much. Sorry, Kyle. I might sneak some NBA stuff in here. Don't tell anybody. We're going to get some hockey stuff going with John too, his picks. As always, we're brought to you by WVUSportsNation.com and many other awesome sponsors that we will absolutely get to while we're here. But man, the March Madness has finally ended last week. Unfortunately, it's on Monday. I know our show's Saturday, and you may have already heard enough about NCAA March Madness, but we don't care. We're selfish. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We've been talking about it for months and months and months, and we're not going to stop now. What an exciting Final Four last weekend. Obviously, with Duke getting upset, or after that large victory. I mean, a large lead. Houston coming back, and with Cooper Flag missing the last shot, and obviously not advancing. But Florida, the team that was the hottest going into the tournament, pulls out the victory over Houston, who, John, you had a futures bet on. You gave up on Houston. I think at midnight one night, maybe after a few bourbons, I tried to tell you, hey, they're back, baby. They're going to win. They didn't pull it out there, but how exciting was this March Madness and Florida winning this, John?
Well, I mean, look, guys, this is what it's about. I mean, you can't anybody that disses March Madness or NCAA basketball in the 64 of the play-ins. This had to be the most exciting Final Four ever. Every game, coming right down to the wire. But I just want to make a comment here on Matthew Lumsden's backdrop. Now that is, I tell you what, that backdrop there you got, Matthew. I mean, I don't know where you came up with that, but the creation, the creativity that went in it, the thought that went into it. I mean, when I first saw him, I'm like, is he okay? He got arrested last night. He's doing a show from a jail cell.
Looks good.
That's exactly what I thought. But that's a hell of a back.
You should wear stripes. Hey, Matthew, wear stripes next time so they wave around on the TV screen too.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
Sometimes things can be so bad, they're good. Like that is so bad, it's actually like it's really good. So sometimes that happens, kind of like the Cougars. So, I mean, I got a futures bet on Duke. I go down the tubes. I got a futures bet on the Cougars. I go down the tubes, and then we end up with Florida. They had a 12-point lead. Well, both my teams had leads. I mean, we can talk about the Duke game in a minute, but if you're betting the Cougars and you got a futures at 7-1, and you got a 12-point lead with the greatest defense in the history of college basketball with 7 minutes to go, how are you going to lose that game? Like, I went in my DraftKings account immediately to say, hey, exactly how much am I going to win? And then, of course,
and we're going to, nothing. Oh, John, you mentioned some gambling odds and so forth. I completely forgot. Hey, we are a gambling show. We're going to do some picks here, but I have to read a disclaimer first. If you have any issues or something like this, give these numbers a call. They can help you out.
Is that what happened to Matthew? Is that
yeah? So if you get caught in a bad parlay, you get stuck in in the stucco jungle behind Matthew Lumsden right now. But if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. That's Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, and Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. 1-800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline-ma.org in Massachusetts. Call 877-G-HOPE-NY, text HOPE-NY 467-369. That's in New York. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Kansas and New Hampshire, 888-789-777/ visit ccpg.org, Connecticut, 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa, or visit opgr.org in Oregon. All right. That's the hardest part of the show. Now it is easy peasy from here. And if you're like driving a truck right now and you actually wrote those down, kudos to you. That is pretty awesome. And now, call away, because a lot of us have a couple problems over here. And no, but you got to the futures bet. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, John. I when Houston had that lead, and especially after the first half, a commanding lead. But Kyle, I want to jump on something right away. There were 4 fouls that first half. Seems like if you're a team like Houston, you're like, oh, I can get away with murder today. I can do whatever I want. I can be a little physical. Second half, 26 fouls. So I think a little bit of this comeback is because they didn't know how they were allowed to play that second half. Do you agree with me, Kyle?
Yeah, the refs, they kind of was confusing because the first half you let it play, you let it be a free game, you let the player dictate the game. Second half you come out with a whole different. I don't know if they went back into a ref meeting and said that this game getting a little too chippy or not, but they came out and actually it benefited the Cougars early because Florida picked up 7 of those first 11 fouls and they got into the bonus early, which helped the Cougars extend their lead and maintain their lead. And it made it an ugly game, which benefits the Cougars because the Cougars, they want to play a more scrappy, ugly game. But it kind of benefited Florida late in the game because when you have a lead and then you got all these clock stoppages, the clock not running off it extends the game, gives more possessions. It helped Florida creep back into the game. And then, yeah, it was a rough game to watch actually in the second half. I thought there was too many fouls called.
Yeah, Matthew. I mean, Michael Clayton Jr. was the best player in the tournament, was named that, but he was bottled up in that first half. A lot to do with the physical play, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, 100%. I think
100%. 0 points in the first half, and then I think you finish with 11. Obviously, good players do what they do. They close games. I think the physicality kind of, as Kyle said, it decreased a little bit. The refs got whistle happy, which favored Florida. Clock stoppage is the easiest way to get back in a game. But, I mean, Walter Clayton did what he does, so it was good to see him go out on top.
Yeah, and I had him in my player pool. I needed 16 points to not lose $400, and I got 11. I mean, he only averaged 29 points a game. So all he needed was a couple of points. Jonathan Edwards, so nice. It's the first time we've been on the show together. Yep. And what did you think about the NCAA tournament? I mean, Florida came in as the hottest team. It's kind of cool in the NCAA in the Final Four. The hottest team played pretty much the best team for 95% of the season when Auburn and Florida comes out with the victory. But it was an impressive comeback, but it seemed like it was a little aided by the refs.
Yeah, I agree because out of the 19 fouls Houston had, 16 came in the second half. That's unbelievable. I thought the first half flew by. I get it was a lack of whistles and stuff, and it's good to clamp down and not let it just get out of hand. But I mean, it was every 5 seconds, and that second half dragged on forever. Great game if you take that away from it. But again, you talked about Clayton as well. People don't mention the fact that he led the team in assists that night with 7. So an 11-7 game, and I don't remember how many rebounds he got. I mean, that he deserved to win most outstanding player. I mean, he only scored in the final 8 minutes, from the field. So it's pretty impressive what he was able to do in such a short amount of production time. But yeah, I don't know. Florida deserved it. just sucks for Houston because they were this close. And I do think this was Houston's one chance to finally win. You know, if there was ever a year for Houston to win, it was this year, and they couldn't do it. So I don't know if they're going to return to that high of a chance anytime soon.
John, how sad was it to see Sampson on the sidelines on the final possession? They keyed in on him, and now it's kind of gone viral. He didn't even have an emotion. I'm like, call a timeout or something, do something. I mean, I know just letting your players go, it was pretty sad and pretty emotional, and kind of what makes the NCAA tournament as great as it is.
You wanted to cry. I don't know how else to put it. A lot of people said he froze. That's baloney. He didn't freeze. He lets his kids play. He never calls timeouts. He just doesn't do it. That's just his coaching style. That's his belief. He believes in his players. He believes they'll figure out on the fly, and he doesn't overcoach them with getting out the scribble board, whatever. I mean, I've been through all that as a basketball coach, not in college, obviously, at the high school level. But you can get over technical and go here, do that. They're doing this. I mean, sometimes you just got to let the kids play and make a play. And so, if you looked at the comeback against Duke. There was one point in that game, it was a Saturday night game, where Duke had a 14-point lead and they had the ball, and the announcer said, wow, Houston right here on this possession is getting in the danger zone. It's about to go to 16. He didn't call a timeout. He didn't panic. He didn't do anything. He just let his kids make the plays they make. And I think that was his thought process there at the end. But, we're accustomed to coaches calling timeouts, calling a play, do this, do that. I mean, if you look at the Duke Blue Devils, I mean, they couldn't inbound the basketball. What play do you have when you can't throw the ball in bounds? You got the lead with, 8 seconds to go. All you got to do is inbound the ball, and they can't do it. So, timeouts, maybe they're oversaying, but it was sad to see him because I think the emotions, like he thought he was going to be his team, not him. He thought Coach Sampson thought his team was going to be a national championship, and finally bring that to Cougars Nation, which they've always been there, never been able to pull it off. He thought he had it. It slipped away. And you got to remember, they were coming over that emotion they had on Saturday night. That was only 2 days ago, where they were written off for dead and came roaring back to win that game against Duke that, scored the final 9 points of the game. I mean, Duke went, 10 minutes without a field goal. I mean, it's unheard of. They choked. So you got all those emotions rolled up into one. So I felt bad for him. And I felt it was unfair for the social media-ites to just blast him, because the guy took a team that really had no offense and got to within a basket of the national championship. I think he did a fabulous job.
Yeah, I agree. It was absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, Houston's been so close so many times. This version of the Houston teams has been to the Final Four a few times, and then obviously Phi Slamma Jam in the '80s. And I'm surprised that Houston's never won a title, and to see it slip away. Kyle, when that final possession happened, I thought of you right away because I don't know the rule on this. So when Emmanuel Sharp gets defended by Clayton and that ball is stripped away, could he have picked that up and shot?
So what happened was, before we even go on to the exact play that happened, I want to piggyback onto the Calvin Sampson.
Yes, please. Yeah.
He actually came out of a timeout. They came out of a timeout and drew up a play, which the play was double screen. They ran a double screen for LJ Cryer into a pin down screen for Emmanuel Sharp. What happened on that play was Jawan Roberts didn't set the screen on Clayton, which allowed him to have a free closeout to Emmanuel Sharp, which he thought he had an open shot. We were one screen away from seeing a beautiful play call that would have changed the whole trajectory of what we're talking about right now. Actually, Calvin Sampson drew up a great play. It just wasn't executed, and it happened in the wrong moment. And it wasn't no time in that play for him to call a timeout, actually, because he thought that Emmanuel Sharp would be getting a wide open shot. So that's what happened. But what happened on the play with Emmanuel Sharp is he left his feet for a jump shot, and Clayton didn't touch the ball. He just dropped it because he thought it was going to get blocked. And because he left his feet and dropped it, it would be a travel if he picked it up. So he wouldn't be allowed to pick it up because he was the one who left it up. It's like a shooter passing to yourself. You can't leave your feet and pass it to yourself. So that's what happened on that play. But Jawan Roberts had a hell of a career. He just one missed screen. Everybody talk about a hell of a closeout from Walton Clayton, but it honestly was a missed screen. He just didn't screen nobody. If you go back and watch the play, number 13, if he set a screen on Walter Clayton, Emmanuel Sharp gets an open three, and we may be having a different conversation about this because Emmanuel Sharp, he shot over 40% from three on the season.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, yeah, because one play, and you're not talking about LJ Cryer, who's had a fantastic career, had 19 points, and that was the tale of two halves. I mean, the first half, I mean, it was obviously all Houston. They looked like they could do no wrong. I mean, that their offense looked sharp. I know we talk a lot about Houston's coach, but I mean, Todd Golden over at Florida, 39 years old, wins a national title. Jonathan, is this guy the next big star in college? He's already got a scandal under his belt and now a national title, so he fits right in.
I was going to say, especially in Florida. I mean, you have the scandal, you have the national title, and you've got a team that's filled with swagger. I mean, that's Florida Gators. Anything. It goes beyond basketball. I mean, look back at football in the mid-2000s. But, I mean, definitely keep an eye out for him. He's already got one thing that most coaches never get. So, I mean, you obviously have to put him up there already, but I mean, there's some great college basketball coaches out there already and a lot that have been before him. So he's got a while to go, but I mean, he's already a lot further than some other people. So
Matthew, we brought up Clayton Jr. He had an insane tournament. One of the most endearing moments. I love the end of these moments when you see, obviously people get their dreams and then one shining moment follows 20 minutes later. But Clayton Jr., the first person that he wanted to see was Mama. And he also kicked out the mascot when he was taking pictures with his cousin. How good is Clayton Jr. and how cool the moment was that?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I was dying laughing. First thing I see on X is him kicking out the mascot. He's like, come on now, just want some family photos. Woke up, I think, the next morning, see like a viral video on TikTok. It's like all the Gators players going around, like ding-dong ditching people around campus, just hitting the Ring doorbells. And it's like, go Gators, chomp, chomp. So, I mean, they were having themselves a time, and they were doing it in a pretty funny yet semi-professional manner. So it was good to see. I mean, they played well all year. I'm glad they got it done. Like Kyle said, it was one screen away from being a completely different outcome possibly, but I think Florida was the hottest team the entire tournament, so I think it was well-deserved.
No, I completely agree. John, you mentioned something earlier. This is the greatest Final Four of all time, over George Mason's and Cinderella's getting in the mix. So I mean, like, it looks like Matthew has almost a chalkboard behind you. So you're a chalk guy. You like what's happening here, all this flooding of money, just making the big dogs bigger. And so we get the top matchups when it gets to the Final Four. Or do you want to see some Cinderella mixed up earlier and then by the time you get to the Final Four?
It's always fun to see a Fairleigh Dickinson or what was it, George Mason, or, I guess 1 year Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU Rams got to the Elite Eight or the Final Four.
Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, when I was in New Jersey, I remember Seton Hall with Pete Carissimo getting to the finals. I mean, nobody saw that coming. So that's always fun when that happens. But look, you had the four best teams in the final four games. I mean, they were all number one seeds. They were all there for a reason. I mean, although I don't think the NCAA got West Virginia right, they would have gotten bounced early, so it didn't matter. But it looks like they got the seeds right, because the best of four best teams were in there, and the games were great. I mean, that Duke Houston game has got to go down in history as one of the greatest comebacks ever. I mean, how you can score the last 9 points of the game in 13 seconds or something is mind-boggling. So it's going to go down in history, but this is why March Madness still rules. I mean, if you compare March Madness, guys, to the debacle that went on with the football playoffs, where all those games were like, what was that, 56-10. I mean, there was not a competitive game until you got down to what is normally the Final Four teams. It wasn't a competitive game. It was boring. I mean, the whole thing, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun watching Arizona State, I think, beat somebody or get closer overtime or something. But this was the real deal, and this is why March Madness, it's never going away, and the NCAA got it right. I have to give it to them. Now, we're all waiting with bated breath for this judge in California, her ruling. What is she going to do? It was supposed to be it's going to be in April, she's saying. So it could come Monday. It could come the Monday after. We don't know what's going to happen. Once that ruling comes out, the whole landscape changes, guys. We're all here. We're all involved in it. We don't know what it's going to be, but we do know that it's not going to be the same. We have no idea what they're doing with NIL. We have no idea what they're doing with the revenue share. We don't know. We don't have any idea what the non-revenue sports are going to do. We have no idea if they're going to do a fifth-year eligibility. Once this ruling comes down, and it is a final, like they can't appeal it. It is the final ruling until further notice, until Congress acts on it, which they already did. That's an entire show, because that is going to change every sport, all the recruiting, everything changes. I mean, I'm getting glimpses of it now, just in anticipation. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and if you look at the local, state and local scene, like in the state of West Virginia, you've had Ren Baker and the West Virginia's president lobbying the state senate also for obviously for some updates to these nil guidelines and stuff. A couple more things on the NCAA tournament. I agree, it is the absolute best, especially the first weekend. It rivals this Masters weekend for me. But man, what an anticlimactic way to end, though. So basically, I'm like showered with friends. I'm watching it every game with somebody, and then the final is at Monday night at 9:00. I can't get anybody to come over. You're just by yourself. My family is done with basketball, so I'm downstairs sneaking a bourbon. I'm not, honey, I didn't drink on Monday. I swear to God, no, I did. It was a national championship game by myself. I hate that. Like, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't need any comments. I just hate that. Here's my last. I want to talk about Cooper Flagg real quick. Any chance that missing that last second shot, Kyle, does that take away anything from his career, his NBA draft potential? Just some thoughts, because he was the biggest name. Duke was one of their best teams in the last decade that they've had, and they came up short.
I think if anything, if you look at this whole season, all 4 losses, they were down 1 possession within the last 30 seconds of the game. And all 4 losses, besides one, they gave the ball to Con Nipple. 3 of those losses, the ball was in Cooper Flagg's hand, a kid who just turned 18 years old. The fact that the coach trusted him to make the play at that moment as an 18-year-old against grown men. I mean, he's going against the Houston Cougars. They had a lineup with everybody over 22 years old. They put the ball in his hands to make a play. He come up short with a shot, but I think if anything, it boosts his stock. An 18-year-old willing to be a guy, willing to have the Michael Jordan mentality. We're going to win this game or lose this game on my hands. And in this game, he actually got a shot up against one of the best defenders in college basketball, Juwan Roberts. He actually got a shot up against Kentucky earlier in the year. He turned the ball over. He slipped. Against Clemson, he fell and slipped. So he had 2 turnovers prior. This time he get a good look. A shot that I'll live with, came up short. So I think if anything, his stock gets boosted. It's just the fact that, wow, why would John Shire trust this kid to take the shot? 3 out of 4 losses this year in this season, just because he's that amazing, and he's only going to get better. This won't define his career at all.
For sure. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Show. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by Cal Carrington, John Fredericks, Matthew Lumsden, and Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan, I love that Cooper Flagg not only – all right, I'm getting to it. I'm sorry. John, I love that Cooper Flagg not only, went right to the media afterwards, but he also came he's been on a media tour right now talking about it, and also talking about, his potential to be the number 1 pick. He seems to be ready for that next level.
I was going to say that's one of those intangible things, is being able to handle like your mistakes. And I mean, the kid's 18, and he's so far ahead, years ahead of his time in terms of how to handle the media. That's a huge thing in the NBA. Look at everything he's done, and he's trusted by his coaches and respected. That's more than any of his stats show. So if you can combine that with his fantastic play at such a young age, where he's outplaying guys that are much more experienced than him, that tells you a lot about Cooper Flagg.
Absolutely. He's going to do well in the next level, John. I believe it. John, while you're looking at me right now, I see like hairs coming in right now. Are you back on this collagen?
I tell you guys, if you're not taking this and you're over 40, you're nuts. Okay. This is like the best thing that I've ever done. Ann takes it. I take it. Jack's now taking it, even though he's now 40. This is the best thing that my entire company takes this. This is collagen. This is from Native Path. This is going to give you the energy you need. I've lost weight. I look better. But the main thing is they said, oh, your hair's going to grow back. Okay. It grows faster I got my comb over going now, right? I had to abandon that because it just wouldn't grow. Now I got the comb over going. But the main thing is, look, I got my coffee right here. I get up, make a cup of coffee, put 2 scoops in, stir it up. You can stir it, put it in your froth or whatever, 2 scoops. You're going to get the protein that you need. The energy gets better. Your hair grows back. You get more color. This is an essential protein that you need. I'm not going to belabor it. Just go to getnativepath.com/Godzilla. No promo code. Getnativepath.com/Godzilla. You're going to get this. It is the greatest thing you're going to get. Now, if you got wife, significant other, whatever, get them for them too. 2 scoops a day. In 2 weeks, it's going to change how you feel. It's going to change your attitude because your body needs collagen. It's a protein that depletes out. And Dr. Chad Walding figured this out. Great friend of mine. Check this out. Buy it now. Do yourself a favor. Getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
All right. We just talked about the NCAA March Madness tournament wrapping up, and we've got plenty to talk about. It's Masters weekend, second hour. We're bringing Jay Delsing on. We are going to talk some Masters. It's been an amazing 2 days. But the NFL, man, they just don't take any time off. They steal every headline when they want to. They just kind of filter it in, bring it back on. But the draft is coming up, and that is on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. There's a lot of mock drafts going on. And obviously, when there's an NFL draft, the quarterback position is key and is always the number one talking point. A big development in the last couple of days is Derek Carr all of a sudden is out for the season, changing the dynamic for the teams that do need quarterbacks in this draft. And, you know, and the top quarterback prospects this year, Cam Ward is the consensus, I don't know, number 1 pick. I'm assuming he's going to be the number 1 pick. John, you would know more than that. Then you got Shador Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart. But man, when you get past Shador Sanders, Matthew, it starts to feel kind of second, third, fourth roundish. Are these guys maybe going to go a little too high just because there's a lack of depth in the quarterback field?
I think that could be a problem, especially with some of these teams that might get borderline desperate. I think after last year, I think that was a very unique circumstance. You had a crap ton go in the top, I think 11 picks. Most of them played early, all panned out. I think you might get some teams try to replicate that, which might be a little bit premature, but I'll be curious to see what happens. I think the Carr injury is probably a good thing for the Saints. I personally don't think they were going to win many games with him. So I think maybe get in there, get a young guy, try to figure something out. But I'll be curious to see where the Tyler Schaafs, Jackson Darts. I'm a Kyle McCord guy. I like what McCord did at Syracuse this year. So I'm curious to see where those 3 go, whether that's 3rd, 4th round, maybe they sneak up into a 2.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's someone down the line that could have just as much impact as some of these other quarterbacks. I mean, John Fredericks, you lead the Shador Sanders fan club. I mean, you love Dion and Shador. Where do you think Shador is going to go? And where do you think he deserves to go?
10th or lower, too much baggage. I wouldn't take him. I mean, I don't want to deal with his father. I love that is the fact is I love Deion Sanders. I love him as a coach. I love him as a man. I love the fact that he wears the biggest crucifix on the sidelines ever made, bigger than the coach of the Steelers that everybody is always banging on. So I love that. I love everything about Sanders, and having been in Atlanta, seeing him play for the Falcons, and then seeing him play, with Florida State, Dion. I love everything he's doing, but I don't want him around if I'm trying to win games in the NFL. Too many distractions, too many problems. And then he's got his son driving around in limos. I don't like any of that. So I wouldn't take a chance on him. I think he's going to start dropping as a result of that because of the intangibles. Got an arm, got all that going on. But I wouldn't touch him. The Titans are going to pick Cam Ward. They have to. They have to pick him. Even if I was in there advising him, then now trade down, take this. No, you got a new stadium. They're trying to sell me tickets because I got a business there. I'm going to buy crap until I see who they're going to pick, and I want a quarterback. They got to pick Cam Ward. He's going to go number 1. Maybe he's the next Jalen Daniels. Maybe he's not, but they got to do something, and so they're going to pick Ward.
Hey, Kyle, I think what John was describing, the kids would call a Jesus piece. Well, it's got to, we just got to get him there. Shador threw for 76% completion percentage. That should translate in the NFL, don't you think, Kyle?
Yes, but he did it holding the ball for like 3.4 seconds per pass attempt. He won't get that amount of time in the NFL. So, and he didn't have the greatest line. So holding on to the ball wasn't the smartest idea at Colorado. It led to him getting one of the most sacks quarterbacks in the college in the nation last year. But he needs to learn how to get the ball off quicker, get it off quicker against better defenders, better corners, better defensive line pressure. Is going to be a tougher. He won't throw for 70% in the NFL, but he still is the second best quarterback in this draft class. His accuracy, he's the safest quarterback actually to take. I think Cam Ward is the best quarterback, the most dynamic quarterback, but Shador Sanders is the safest pick because at his floor, I think he's as good as Kirk Cousins. I think that, so if your floor is as good as Kirk Cousins, you at least know you're an NFL starter. So I think that he has the highest floor, but also his ceiling isn't as high as Cam Ward's because Cam Ward has that playmaking ability and intangibles that Shador Sanders just don't have.
And we know John's about to load up on season tickets and buy advertising in the stadium once Ward. So I don't know what he's talking about over here. Kyle, you're wearing the Alabama colors. I should have gone to you with this one, but Jonathan, Jalen Milroe looks the part he took his shirt off. Everybody was wooing, and he ran an insane 40. He's amazing. I watch most Bama games. Taking an NFL quarterback that I kind of saw regress at some points in college seems a little crazy, but his intangibles are off the charts. Is Jalen Milroe going to go, first or second round?
I think he's going to be low second round. I like some of his game, but my big thing is he regressed, and I think he got super hot, and then I was like, wow, this guy's great. And then as his career at Alabama went on, I was sold less and less, and I don't know. I don't know where he's going to fall. That's going to be an interesting one. It's an interesting quarterback class, and going back to Shador Sanders, I think talking about all the baggage he carries, that will carry over. I think his draft stock actually shoots up a little bit now that Deion has signed a 5-year deal with Colorado. That means he's at least going to be tied up in some form, and he's not following him coaching wise. But yeah, back to Jalen Milroe. I just think I don't know how teams are going to view him because he's had a lot of good production in the lead up to the draft. But again, last season was really concerning, at least to me.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the the prognosticators, and they have Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers over this man that just looks like the prototypical NFL quarterback. Will Howard, came from Kansas State to Ohio State, but he's 6'4", 235 pounds. He just, I'm a Ben Roethlisberger fan. He just kind of fits that mold. John, would you take a flyer on well, you're not going to have to, but if you were a team down the road, would you take a flyer on Will Howard? The guy wins, and he's got all the intangibles.
No.
Nice. No, just no.
No.
Yeah, I know.
There's just not enough there. This is NFL football. You squander these draft picks, you're screwed. If you look, I don't follow all the teams intently. I follow mine. And if you trace our demise, it all started with the draft. We made dreadful draft picks one after the other. That's why she can. That's why Amy can. John Robinson. Yes, I know we traded away some of our best players, didn't sign them, screwed that up, comedy of errors. But we had a number of draft busts, one after the other. You do that on a consistent basis, you're going to get 2 or 3 wins. You just can't take that. You just can't take that chance. Not in the first, second, or third round. You got to get people that are going to be able to play and make a difference and contribute to your team. You get down in the lower rounds, you can take a shot with somebody, but you're in those first 3 rounds. You need guys that can step in and make a difference. I just wouldn't take that kind of a risk.
No, and with the injury and now the Saints in the mix for a quarterback, that puts teams like my Pittsburgh Steelers in a really precarious spot because they're sitting at the 21st pick, and that a few days ago looked like you may get a Shador Sanders falling there, kind of like an Aaron Rodgers situation where there just weren't teams that needed him. Now at 21, you got to imagine that he's probably gone or to make a pick. So like the Steelers at 21, and I agree, I don't want you reaching for a Hewers or a Will Howard right now. Take your lumps, take Mason Rudolph or whatever the heck.
But by the time, guys, let's get everybody involved here. By the time the Steelers get to the 21st pick, every decent quarterback's gone. I mean, they're all gone.
Jackson Dart's gone.
Jackson Dart will be available. Is gone. What?
Yeah, Jackson Dart will be there, and I just don't want. And they're good. They have to think about it, right? You have to contemplate.
Why don't they just bite the bullet and sign Rodgers and be done with it?
I don't think he'll. I mean, he wasn't at the big night that Pat McAfee just had in Pittsburgh, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. I mean, I think they will. I think they would sign him. It's an interesting spot because the teams that need quarterbacks are the Titans. We pretty much know what's going to happen there. Browns, Giants, Saints, and Steelers. And there's not too many people out there when you're kicking the can on Baltimore Ravens quarterbacks that started their career in the late 2000s. It's slim pickings out there. I'll tell you what. What's not slim pickings? If you're in the Dumfries, Virginia area and you want to get a little gaming going on, John, Rosie's. You've been talking about it forever, and there's one right down the road, and it's my fault I have not gone. I'm going to go this month. Tell us a little bit about Rosie's Gaming down here in Virginia.
Listen, all I can say is you go to Dumfries. They got a new hotel there, Rosie's Hotel, and I just went there. Was a couple weeks ago. It was the first time we were there. It's a gorgeous hotel. It's a gorgeous facility. So look, Mitch, all fun and no play makes Mitch a dull boy. You're gonna have fun at Rosie's, right? You go there. Do a little gambling. You got upstairs. You can bet all the athletics you want. The sports books upstairs. You got OTB. You got the slot machines downstairs. A great atmosphere. Take your wife. Date night. It's a great date night, dude. Take your wife. Have fun. Win money. And if things work out, you play your cards right, you might get lucky twice, Mitch. So all you got to do is go to rosiesgaming.com. That's rosiesgaming.com. Get all your fun there. And by the way, biggest jackpots, biggest payouts. Why? Lowest take by a state out of there in the country. That's what the Virginia General Assembly did. That was their deal. And so players win more money. Great jackpots there. Always have a good time. Food is excellent. Go to rosesgaming.com. And we got horse racing coming to Colonial Downs in July. I'm going to be there. Got our suite going again. Can't wait for that. Going to have another big meet where we're going to be doing our show. This time I'm going to get Mitch there, and the girls are all coming. We're going to have a great day to our suite. We're going to call it Mitch Rogers Day at Colonial Down. We're going to do the whole clan there. They can bring the soccer balls and everything.
I am ready. We love it around here. Virginia Gold Cup is in the first week of May as well around. And so, yeah. Thank you. I will absolutely come out for sure.
We got to get you out of your shell. We got to get you out.
I'm in. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Pick Show. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by John Fredericks, Matthew Lumsden, Kyle Carrington, and Jonathan Edwards. Lots of stuff going on in sports. It is Masters Week. We're going to do that in the second hour. But Major League Baseball got its start last month. We're fully flying in. Matthew, I know you're our baseball guru over here, and we're going to talk a lot about Houston. And for some reason the Pirates, just because we're around Pittsburgh, around a lot of there. But man, I'm driving up to Pittsburgh last week, and it's still just everybody talking about these torpedo bats. Like, is this a thing? I mean, is it a real advantage? Is everyone allowed to do it? Is it cheating? I know it wasn't on the format, but the torpedo bats kind of took over the narrative at the beginning of the season.
I mean, it's legal. Everybody can do it. I still think it goes to the fact that the Yankees are playing in a ballpark that's 310 down the lines. They weren't playing the greatest competition in the world. I mean, come on. John's got this collagen rock, and he's going to go out there and start hitting some home runs at Yankee Stadium before this is all over. I'm licking my wounds a little bit. The Red Sox just got absolutely waxed by the White Sox. So that was a tough look for my boys. I was real excited to see John today. The Astros were struggling and then had two former players as the AL and NL players of the week last year in Bregman and Tucker last week. But they dropped a 14 spot last night.
I know. We were ready to just pile on John today. And then they scored more runs yesterday than they did all season.
I came on. I was ready. Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, red hot. Astros can't hit. And then they come out of the shell right in time. And I was like, guess we're going to have to dial it back a little bit. But no, as long as the torpedo bats are concerned. I don't think it's a big deal. Everybody wants to get in on it. Go for it. I mean, you still got to hit the ball. You got to make contact. It's a hard thing to do.
Hey, that's what I said during the steroid era, baby. Yeah, exactly. You still got to. I don't care if it looks this big coming at you. I mean, exactly. If I did steroids, I'm not hitting 80 home runs. You still have to be able to do it, right? Jonathan, there's one dude with the Yankees that doesn't torpedo, and all he does is hit 6 home runs, 17 RBIs in his first 7 games. Aaron Judge is pretty darn good, torpedo or not, right?
Yeah, as a fellow Red Sox fan, I mean,
I love it.
Judge is the one guy that I have a ton of respect for on the Yankees, and he's the one that's not using it. But again, the torpedo bats. I mean, look at O'Neal Cruz. He has one. He's not hitting anything.
Hey, Jonathan. We just met.
I know. I was in Pittsburgh on Wednesday watching the game. It was sad. It was so sad. But I mean, he's on my fantasy baseball team too. So, I mean, you still have to be able to hit the ball. So, I mean, let it be legal. It's fine. Who cares?
Hey, John, how fun would this be if I don't let Kyle talk anything about the Yankees and just move it right away? No, Kyle, give me 25 home runs in their first 8 games. That's pretty impressive for a team that was supposed to be struggling this year.
Yeah, like everybody's saying about torpedo, but it's legal. Everybody can do it. It's not no given advantage. You see what Aaron Judge is doing without it. Red Sox fans, you making me start not to like you guys.
Oh, just now? Wasn't after 2004? Or, just down 03?
Or 13 or 18.
But
that's besides.
It's a lot of stuff from 15 years ago, though. I do like.
But that. we still can hammer John about the Astros. They had one good game, but that seven runs in the last 2 innings versus the Seattle Mariners, we can't let them slip with that.
No, I mean, I watched that game. It was a, you know what? That's why God made alcohol. That's all I can say. I mean, it's the end of the day. I mean, I get up at 3:30, so by five I'm done. And I didn't have anything to do that night, so I put the Stros game on. Of course, I bet him. We got a 5-0 lead, game's over. And then Randy Rosarina, who was beating the Astros. I mean, I don't think we've gotten the guy out in a decade. We just can't get the guy out. He hits a 3-2, 2-out fastball. He hits a bomb, 5-4, and then they blow it in the 9th. But you can see what happens if you're betting and you're looking at the Astros. You can see what happens the next game after Hader pitched 2 innings. He was done, and so they couldn't bring him in. And basically, that's who they got. Without Presley, I mean, Abreu, you can't bring him in every day, so they had nobody. And Seattle, who had 2 hits in the prior 2 games, right? They suck. They don't hit. Score 7 runs in the 8th and 9th inning. And actually, the walk was embarrassing. I mean, throw a strike and have the guy hit the ball. I mean, you walk. I mean, come on, this is Major League Baseball. Throw the ball down the middle, maybe hits it at somebody. So it was a disaster. But they came back and won last night. Look, I'm not going to sit here and dwell on Alex Bregman. We didn't sign him. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on Kyle Tucker. He was going to ask for $500 million. They weren't going to sign him. So they did the best they could. They got they got some good players from the Cubs that they can sign maybe. But I mean, if you're an Astro fan right now, you got to be wondering, are we going to be the new Pittsburgh Pirates? Because we're not signing anybody.
What is everybody?
Anybody.
Why is everyone
coming
coming
sign
at me
anybody?
Today? Why are you just coming at me?
They're not going to sign Framber. He just pitched 6 shutouts innings the other day. So it's okay, you made all this money, Crane. You made millions and millions and millions of dollars, and now you're not signing our players. What is up with that? You brought Dana Brown in, your GM. You said, oh, we're going to do what Atlanta did. We're going to sign our young players, build a fan base, keep them here. You haven't done any of it. You let Coochie go to the Angels. You didn't sign Bregman. You're not signing Framber. You traded Tucker. What exactly is the plan here? You got to ask. You signed Christian Walker, 12 months. That's it. So are we going to be the new, the new Pirates or the new A's? I think they're heading in that. The problem with baseball is if you own the A's or the Pirates, you make more money by losing. They got to fix this, and they got to fix it now.
Yeah, I was going to save the Pirates, but the Pirates are it's just embarrassing how they started the season. I mean, they had the chance of fire the fire the president, fire the owner, or sell the team is what they've been doing. And they've had these two crazy controversies already. I don't know if you've heard about the Bucco bricks. The Bucco bricks literally are sent out to honor family members, many of whom have died and deceased since the early 2000s. And then they did a renovation there, Jonathan, and then they found all the bricks in a recycling center. And all the proceeds for these bricks go to the Roberto Clemente Foundation. And and also for second controversy, we're watching the second game, home game of the year, and we looked in right field, and I'm not going to but there's a beer sign instead where there used to be the 21 Clemente sign. Jonathan, you were at the Pirates game yesterday or this weekend. Yeah. I was in Pittsburgh last weekend. It was a big deal, and it's just an embarrassment the only thing that the Pirates franchise, in my opinion, has done right over the last 40 years is how they treat the Clemente family and the statues. And how do they keep messing up?
I don't know. They're like speed running, trying to run the franchise into the ground. I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since the Pirates were like doing good, and I mean, I'm cursed with having to listen to them almost every shift at my other job because we cover them. But between that and I was there on Wednesday when they played the Cardinals in that weird 13-inning game, and that was the first game that the Clemente sign was back. And I was sitting right beside it because I was out in right field. But you still heard the sell the team chants from the 8,000 that were there. There was no one there on 12:30 on a Wednesday. But it's just so sad because I think the Pirates organization just kind of like tries to justify all of their misactions by, we've been named the nicest ballpark in the country, which fair. But,
it is beautiful. Nice.
And you have the World Series titles from the past, but I mean, at some point you can't rely on that forever to hold your franchise up. If not, I mean, the Pirates are in real trouble.
Yeah, from the past, from 1979 when we beat the Orioles and had to come back. We are family. I was 2 years old. It is a sad state of affairs in Pittsburgh. Like you mentioned, Paul Skeens, Matthew. Maybe the best pitcher in baseball. There were 5,000 fans for him. It was 30 degrees. I get it. Combined that day between the Penguins game and the Pirates game, I was in Pittsburgh. There were like 17,000 combined at both events. Matthew, how can they screw up Paul Skeens?
It's going to be tough to do it, but if I'm him, I'm going to want out. What's the appeal there? Nice ballpark, but I want to win. I want to be competitive. I want money. I don't think the Pirates can do any of the above. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they play him once the rookie deal's up. If I'm them, I probably trade him while you still have the leverage. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but you might as well try to get something in return unless you turn this around quickly, because I don't see any circumstance where he's going to stay. So if that's what it's going to be, at least try to get something for him instead of let him walk. But yeah, it's a tough.
I don't think they can do that. I think if they let this kid go, I think it's the end of that franchise. I think then the ownership, the Nuttigs, Bob Nuttig, they just got to get out of the business.
But they won't. They have like kids and then cousins. They're gonna keep this. This is their way to make a living for the rest of their entire lives. Kyle, I was in Pittsburgh last week. And unexpectedly, so I was trying to get hotel rooms. They're all booked up. I'm like, what is happening? It's your Yankees fans just flooding in from everywhere. And the funniest thing was there was a few troll jobs where there were Yankees jerseys with Skeens' name on the back. And that hits hard because we lost our best pitcher a decade ago to this team. So it obviously can happen. You're listening to Godzilla Wins. We're brought to you by WVUSportsNation.com. When we get to the second hour, we are going to talk some WVU sports. We're going to talk WVU baseball and keep that thing going because what an unbelievable start to their year and not ranked. I wrote a column about it. We're going to get into that. But we got to get into the beast. Who wants to talk about the Dodgers? Matthew, the Dodgers, right? I mean, Tani, I was at one game last season. When that ball hits off his bat, it sounds otherworldly. I mean, he is that dude. The Dodgers obviously paid for their team, but they look legit. Like, who can stop them?
The Nationals did.
Very
didn't
true.
see that series loss coming. I guess that midweek across the country caught a lull, but no, they got back onto it last night. Beat the Cubs 3-0. They got the Cubs again today. Cubs starter not very good, so I think they're going to continue to take care of business. They're hands down the best team in MLB, and it's unfortunate because I think the second best team in MLB and possibly the third are both in that division, and they're just basically throwing all their chips in for wild cards. So that is tough. But I'm excited. I guess, to watch the Padres and Diamondbacks duke it out with them all year. At least the NL West should be exciting. I can't say that about too many divisions right now. So I'll be curious to see if they could possibly.
Well, the Giants came from nowhere. I think they're 10-3, right? They're in second place. San Diego's 11-3. Then you got the Dodgers 11-4. But somebody comment on the Giants. I didn't really follow them. All I know is they went into Texas and beat the pants off us, swept the Astros a 3-game series. I don't think we were in a game.
Yeah, I was going to say with the Giants, I mean, they were undefeated going into a series at home with the Reds and lost 2 out of 3. Right. I mean, the Reds are a strange team right now. I followed them a lot too, and it was weird seeing that because the Reds will improve as the season goes on, I think. But seeing them go out to San Fran and take 2 of 3, I don't know. The Giants are a really good team. I just think I don't know. I think they're going to struggle as the season goes on. They'll still be good, but the hot streak, I think, they're going to be wishy-washy this year.
They just dominated my Yankees 9-1.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take too much.
Oh man!
I mean, the Yankees got off to this unbelievable start. Everybody talk about torpedo bats, and they hit like a bajillion home runs, and now they've come back. They've come back down to earth. I think Toronto's in first place right now in the AL East. So, look, I mean, we're all rooting for everybody else except the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets, right? Because of the money, right? So we're all rooting against them. All three are going to probably make the playoffs. But the thing about baseball is pitching still dominates, and any of those wild card teams can knock any of these teams off in a 3 out of 5. So look, we'll see what happens down the stretch. Injuries can happen. You just don't know. But right now, I think, the Giants got to raise some eyebrows. San Diego is also playing great baseball. They have no minor. Did they even have a minor league? Do they have any minor league teams, Matthew, San Diego, or what do they just trade every? I don't even think they have a minor league team. Do they?
Yeah, they're running thin, and the most impressive part is all of their top draft picks outside of Jackson Merrill in the last couple of years are no longer with them. So they got Mackenzie Gore dominating actually in Washington. Ryan Weathers is another one down in Miami. He's on IL, but yeah, they've traded a lot of their top picks recently, but they're getting it done. They swing it. The pitching staff's deep, and hopefully they can overcome the Dodgers.
I know, and I almost feel like the Dodgers are just going to spend until this collective bargaining agreement, and then we're going to get a major lockout. Jonathan, do you think there's anything that would change after the lockout as far as revenue sharing or anything like that, or something that can make the Pirates actually spend money on their players?
Yeah, well,
taking down bricks.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing's going to be interesting, but I will say a salary cap is desperately needed in baseball. I mean, for all we know, Paul Skeens by 2027 is going to get paid for 12 years, $1 billion to go play for the Dodgers and be their second best pitcher or third in their rotation just because. So, I mean, I hope something happens because, A, the revenue needs shared more equally, or else none of your small market teams are going to get past the wild card round other than an occasional fluke, like you had, with the Diamondbacks and the Rangers series a couple years ago. That was awesome. Even though the series didn't pan out, I was just so happy to see someone else. But even at this point, Boston, doesn't even get as much revenue sharing as they did, for the past 20 years. In the past 5 years, I mean, it doesn't seem like Boston has that big team feel like they have the history. But when they're compared to the Yankees and Dodgers right now in the current landscape of the MLB, it's just not the same. So I do think the revenue sharing has to come around and has to be distributed more evenly, or else it's just going to be two teams for eternity just paying for their titles.
I mean, how can you argue against it? No,
I mean, we're getting a lockout, right? I mean, when's the collective bargaining up, right? At the what is it? The end of 26 or 25?
I'm not sure.
6, I think.
Yeah, it's the end of 26. 27, you're going to get half the season's gone. I mean, because baseball can't go on this way. I mean, you simply cannot go on without a salary cap. And the greed of the Players Association is going to be such that they're going to fight it. There's going to be a lockout, and everybody's going to have to suck this up because you're going to destroy the game if you don't get a revenue, a salary cap. NFL has it. It made him the greatest sport ever in the history of any sport ever. NHL has it. You look at NHL right now, there's 15 teams that can win the cup. Matthew doesn't agree with me necessarily on this, but revenue share has made that an unbelievably competitive league. You go to the playoffs, any of these teams, there are so many teams who could win this thing. You go to the NBA right now, you got playoffs coming up, right? No one knows. Any of these teams can make a run. You go to baseball, it's a joke. You got 3 teams spending $1 billion a player, all right? What did Toronto sign?
That's what I was about to get to. Right. There's teams spending $1 billion.
It's $1 billion now guys are signing for.
Yeah, you guys have been talking about the Red Sox and the Yankees, but the Blue Jays are in first place right now, and they just signed Vlad Guerrero to a 14-year, $500 million contract. That's half of the Buccos payroll. I think the Buccos have a $76 million payroll, and this is 30.
You forgot the $325,000 upfront signing bonus.
Oh,
forget the $500 million. He got $825 million from the Canadian baseball team, whatever they are, from Canada. Got 800. That's like $1 billion to play baseball. It's just like you can't continue with this because Pirates are never going to be able to do that. A lot of the Kansas City can't do that. Miami can't do that. So where does this go? You got to get a salary cap. Luxury tax doesn't mean anything when you're Steve Cohen, bankster, hedge fund guy making bajillions of dollars. The luxury tax to him is a joke. He doesn't care. So it's the same thing with the Dodgers. You got to get a salary cap, or this game is going to be 5 teams, and then everybody else is their feeder teams. That's what it's going to turn into.
Hey, Kyle, I don't think they'll ever get a salary cap because there's just these huge players out there, the Yankees, the Red Sox, all the people that have been getting rich off this forever. They're also the most influential owners in the game of baseball. What realistically could happen? Will it be a regular salary cap, like a revenue sharing, like in football, or will there be something different? Or will it just be something where you can't go over it? Like the Dodgers keep going over the allowed cap because they can, because they get tax on it or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're gonna put a ceiling on it. I think that they will never go into the NBA model or the NFL model, but I think they will put a ceiling on how much you can spend, and I think that that's the way that you go about it. I think that you have to have something done because it's just you want to have a competitive balance, and it's just not happening now with the current landscape. And then the amount of money that these guys have is just filthy. They're just filthy rich. They can spend it on whatever and whoever.
And John, one that you've got to be watching, right? Kyle Tucker, your former Astros. There's a lot of pressure on the Cubs to sign him to the next mega deal.
They did what they got to do. They're trying to win the division. He's going to have a great season, and then he's going to sign for $700 million, which the Astros would never be able to pay him. So I'm happy we got something for him. We got this guy, Cam, whatever his name is, Cam Smith. He looks pretty good. He had a homer last night. But we got something, right? Because the alternatives, you get another year, then you get nothing. So all these decisions have got to be made. Kyle Tucker's going to get $600,000, $700,000, $1 million, and so there's only 2 or 3 teams that can pay that. That's the problem. And until they fix it and they're worrying about pitch clocks, like Manfred, you're a freaking moronic idiot, okay? And all those young pimply-faced MIT jackasses you've got in New York that didn't get off the T-ball field, don't understand the game. That's what's the problem with the MLB. The whole New York outfit is they don't understand the game, they don't understand the fan base, and they're tinkering around with magic at-bats or something. And the biggest problem is they have a competitive imbalance that eventually is going to destroy the game. You see it right now. Pittsburgh's got 5,000 people come out in April on a Wednesday afternoon. Are you kidding me? Like, you get that. The West Virginia Mountaineers got 5,000 against Pitt 3 days ago. This is turned into a comedy show.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Godzilla Win Show. Our first hour is wrapping up. The second hour, we're going to bring in Jay Delsing, former PGA player, talking Masters, which is my favorite sports weekend of the year. I think I said that last month too at the NCAA tournament, but we'll figure it out. I believe we're losing Jonathan. Jonathan, pleasure to meet you. I want to hear about you going to Marshall and then WVU. You're in my. I probably have my initials in some in the Pearlie Isaac Reed School of Journalism. So just look out for me over there while you're there. But it's a pleasure, Jonathan.
Oh, thank you for having me, guys.
All right. Well, we're going to get down to this.
Remember, you can read Jonathan every day. Go to WVSportsNation.com, WVSportsNation.com, the greatest sports site covering West Virginia University ever. Jonathan's a writer there. And Mitch's columns, he had one the other day. Mitch, it made me cry. Your column actually made me cry on Rich Rod and the spring game. It was a great column. You can go there, see him at Mitch Please. It was a great piece. Mitch.
Right.
We cover all the sport. We cover gymnastics, rowing, rifle, WVSportsNation.com. Check it out. Check it out now.
All right. After this break, we're going to give you 10 minutes of WVU Sports Nation material, and we cannot wait. We'll be back right after this.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
If you're looking for a nutritional supplement that really makes a difference, look at Immuno 150. Now, this exceptional product contains 70 minerals and 80 additional nutrients. It's precisely formulated with the purest of ingredients, and it's inexpensive in relation to the results it produces. There is nothing like it. Now, look at the supplement facts and the 2 videos on our website, and place your order online or call our toll-free number. See what 70 minerals and 80 of the best nutrients.
It's the Sports Pickin' Show with the guys in the know. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com. Godzilla wins!
For entertainment purposes only.
They make me say that.
All right. Welcome back to Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by Matthew Lumsden, Kyle Carrington, and we bring on Jay Delsing. I can't imagine a perfect time to have Jay on because we're going to get to the Masters. John Fredericks will also be joining us as we will be talking a lot about West Virginia sports. We are brought to you by WVUSportsNation.com. You can get the latest and greatest columns and highlights, and we'll be talking about the baseball team. In the first hour, we did some Major League Baseball, NCAA tournament wrapped up, and NFL draft. But now we switch on to the second hour. Again, we bring on Jay. We're going to do a lot of Masters talk. I know. I've got to follow this format. They talk to me on this. I've got this.
Really excited to talk golf, my brother. Let's go.
I know. So according to the format, we got to do some little WVU sports first. So right now, the WVU baseball team is gotten off to a hot start. They're 28-4. They just won over Houston yesterday. They come in not ranked, Matthew. So we talked about this. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks. I mean, they were 13-0. We talked about their schedule to start the season, but now they're fully into the Big 12 conference schedule. And I think they're just getting penalized because they haven't faced the meat of the Big 12. Would that be fair to say for the snubbing?
I mean, I
just noticed your Masters shirt too. Oh yeah.
Everybody was too distracted on the brilliant white brick wall earlier, but yeah, we are the greatest weekend of the year, so we are representing appropriately. No, I think that's the only leg that can really stand on at this point for not ranking them. But at the same time, they're 32 games in and they're 28-4. They can only play who's in front of them. It's not their fault who's really been there, especially when it comes to conference play. I think that not being ranked at this point when you're 28-4 and in first place in the Big 12 is relatively absurd. And I mean, if you look at it, they don't play third or fourth place who's currently in the Big 12. They still have Kansas. They get Kansas State, but they don't have TCU, don't have Arizona State, already beat Arizona, beat Oklahoma State. Like, they're beating who's in front of them. You can't really ask for much more. And I mean, they're playing really good ball, scoring a ton of runs, and they keep taking care of business night in and night out.
Yeah, Kyle, it seems pretty weird. I mean, I could take this 4 years ago before the baseball team had kind of been put on the map, but they're coming off of hosting a super regional. They're coming off an amazing season. They picked up where they left off. Granted, they had to replace a lot of their pitchers in the transfer portal, but that's just what college athletics is right now. They have star players. Griffin Kern had the win yesterday. Logan Suave. They really have everything a ranked team should have. Record, playing in one of the toughest conferences in the NCAA. It feels like a snub again. And I know a lot of the Mountaineer fan base feels it from the basketball team now to the baseball team. Is that justified?
It almost feels like West Virginia's getting picked on. I mean, coming off a snub of the NCAA tournament for basketball, then you look at the 28-4 season. They're 8-3 in conference. They do got to win over Oklahoma State, sweep Utah. They just win. They beat who's in front of them. And 28-4, 32 games in, there's teams that they're better than in the top 25. And I think that it's a snub. I think that they are getting picked on, and it's not right.
All right. If you're new to our show, we are also sponsored by WVUSportsNation.com. That's why we're talking a little West Virginia sports. John Fredericks, you are near and dear to the program, and you have Coach Sabins on your other show weekly. Coach Sabins is in his first year, taking over for Randy Mazey's program for some of the people that aren't up to date with WVU baseball. I know your thoughts on this. Why aren't they ranked?
Because we're getting screwed like we always are. As simple as that. You can only beat the teams ahead of you. You're 28-4. You're in first place. You're scoring 10 runs a game. That's their average. You scored another 9 last night. You can't get them out. 1-9 through the lineup is probably the best lineup in baseball outside of some of the better SEC teams. So you got that going on. You got great depth. I know, look, everybody's fighting for PT. You know, a lot of people not happy about, their roles, but that's when you're 28-4. I mean, you can pitch all you want. The team is winning. I mean, they're scoring 10 runs a game. They're going to sweep the Cougars, who are not that good. And the schedule, guys, favors them. I mean, the schedule, they can be hosting a regional. The schedule favors them because who do they got coming up? Cincinnati, they're not that good. After that,
at UCF, which they can hit, but that's
horrible.
A very winnable series.
They could win the next 9, and the next 9 Big 12 games are 8 out of 9, or certainly 7 out of 9. If I had to bet now, I'd say they probably going to win 8 out of 9 of these. They got one of the best pitchers in Chase Myers that they have coming out of the pen. He saves him till he has a lead in the 3rd inning, and he puts him in for 6 innings. You win. I mean, everything they got going on right now. Look, if I'm Sabins, I'm thinking about going to Rent Baker and asking for a contract extension. Right? It's got everything. It's got everything going for him. And so, who cares about next year? You can also say everybody's going to leave. All these seniors gone. We'll worry about next year. This team is for real. Now, let's get to what Matthew said. He's also right. The meat of the schedule is at the end. We don't know what's going to happen. Tired arms could happen. Kids stop hitting. You got to play Kansas. You got to play Kansas State. They really lucked out with Oklahoma State. They only had to play them 1 game and beat them. Probably get beat 2 out of 3 there. They lucked out there. Everything is favoring them now. Sabins got a halo on his head.
Jay, we're all in our little WVU bubble over here. We might need some outside perspective from Jay, who is way outside of Morgantown, West Virginia right now. What's cool about college baseball, just like with college basketball, ranking schmankings. You still have to go into your tournament and then go into the other tournament. So you can win to prove yourself, right? So does the fan base just need to like chill out a little?
No, I'd be pissed if I were you guys too. 28-4. Listen, baseball is you make your schedule months and months ahead of time, and it's set. You can't go, oh, well, we're having a great year, we want to avoid people. You're not doing that. It's, you know what, I don't, as a part of NCAA, you know my thoughts on those guys. They can't run a lemonade stand. They're awful. They're screwing up sports as it goes. And so I don't understand it, but all I can say is that keep winning. You know what I mean? Keep winning and take care of everything. When I was playing lousy on tour, the old guys would say, just play better and all your problems go away. And I'm like, what kind of answer is that? It's really true. It's really true. Look in the mirror, play better. You're beating everybody in front of you. There's haters out there, man. And you know, they don't like a changing of the guard. You know, you've got these guys, you guys are the Mountaineers are, you know, not a baseball powerhouse. And so you're not going to get love until you keep beating people.
I know, and it's unfortunate. Again,
you got Saban's too. I mean, he's replacing a legend. This is not easy to do. And look, you know, you learn as a coach. You either sometimes you got to just focus on winning. You're not in the business to make friends. You know, a lot of there's equal numbers here. People that don't like him do like, but when you're 28-4, like Matthew said, you can only beat the teams in front of you. They're on the schedule. You fly to Texas, you go to the stadium, you score 9 runs, you beat them. They're going to beat them again today, and they're going to beat them again Sunday. And then you fly home and you play you go to Huntington, and they're going to beat them 28, 29, 30. They're going to be 32-4 or 31-4 by the time Cincinnati rolls into town. So this program is for when you. How do you get these people out? I mean, that's my question. 1-9, they're all hitting 350. The hell do you get them out? And you say, oh, well, you know, they had a very weak schedule. Yeah, they did. No doubt about it. Lipscomb, joke. Queens, joke. These are like D2 schools, okay? But now you're winning Big 12 games. Well, the Big 12 teams are playing aren't any good. Well, that's not our fault.
No.
We don't have anything to do with how good they are. They're on the schedule. You go, you play them, you beat them, you come home. That's where Saban's is now. Oh, he's playing the same players over and over and over. Yeah, well, you're 28-4. You want to do a better job than that? Take the team over. You can't argue with the record. Who was it that said it? Was it Big Tuna? Bill Parcells. Best comment on sports ever. Nobody said, how good is your team? Nobody said, you're as good as your record says you are.
That is very true. That is for you listening to Godzilla Wins Pick Show. We have Jay on. I know everybody's just waiting for some golf, some Masters talk, but real quick, you can go on wvusportsnation.com and check out my latest column, and it was about Rich Rod in the spring game, and we'll wrap up West Virginia by talking a little bit about the good vibes that the baseball team's bringing right now, especially after the basketball season ended in such a way, and the spring game was last weekend, and the buzz around Morgantown seemed real, seemed palpable. Seeing Rich Rod back coaching, even if it was kind of intra-squad scrimmages and little practices here and there. But man, when they played Country Roads, he started tearing up, Kyle. What should the fan base really expect from a team that is literally replacing almost all their rosters, but they have expectations to do better than Neil Brown last year? What should we expect?
I mean, it's Rich Rodriguez. He's been there before. He's going to get it done. He's already out in Western Pennsylvania recruiting the best players out here. So I just seen him around.
Good.
That's a good start. You got the transfer portal coming up April 16th to 25th. So the roster isn't finalized. They're going to lose some players. They're going to add some players. I think that reasonable expectation is middle of the pack. They got to be better than they were with Neil Brown. And Rich Rodriguez will get it done. We know what he is. We know what he's about. We know what he gets done. I think that bringing him back in was the best thing that Ren Baker could have done, and it's going to pay off.
Yeah, I'm excited. Matthew, you excited about this West Virginia football team? Maybe not the first year, maybe down the line.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, look at where the baseball program was 10 years ago. It's not the same thing. Now they're coming off super regionals. I mean, they should be hosting a regional this year. There's no reason for them to not have 45 wins. And I think that's where football needs to start. You were under 500 last year. Be competitive in the Big 12, beat the brakes off of Pitt, get some wins at home, get the fan base to buy in. 5 years from now, you should be competing for conference championships.
See, I agree 100% with Matthew. They got to win a couple Big 12 games at home. They beat Pitt at home. What do they have? 4 or 5 home games, right, against Big 12. You win 3-4 of those games. If you look at the end of the season last year, this is why Neil Brown had to go. Matthew knows this, and so does Kyle and Mitch. I mean, there should be 70,000 people there, and there were like 15. When you're getting when the Big 12 teams are dropping 50 spots on you at home. I mean, and Mitch, you had a great line in that column. You said Neil Brown's style of football was, what did you call it? Plotting something. I laughed at that.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of Hunter S. I was reading a lot of Hunter S. Thompson. I was trying to get real descriptive in that one. So my creative writing came out there. So I don't know.
What'd you call it? The plotting.
Googling a lot of synonyms.
Neil Brown's plotting football. Whatever it was, it made me laugh because that's really what it was plotting was like the great word. That was like Neil Brown just plotting football, boring as hell. So yeah, it was good.
No, I think there's 2 games this year. I think it's that Pitt game, and then I think it's November 8th. Dion comes to town. If you can pull that out, that's going to catch some headlines, and that'll be a really big one if they can get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to do it. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm going to do a little flip of, I got to talk Masters before I talk hockey. I just can't do it. It's just, I'm not being true to myself if I go to hockey and I have Jay Delsing, former PGA player, sitting on my bottom left right here, looking at me, ready to talk about the Calgary Flames. No way. We're not doing that. Masters week is upon us. I mean, it's not just Thursday through Sunday for me. It is Monday. You're watching the practice rounds. We're watching them skip the ball, the par 3 contest, just watching Jack walk around everywhere. Jay, just tell me, what does the Masters mean to you?
Oh, dude, I'm a nerd and a geek, and I'm watching every single thing like you are too in the morning. Before I go to bed, my dog is like, really, dude, you got the Masters on again? You've seen this already. I'm like, Cooper leaves the room. It's you guys, the coolest place you've ever seen. Even if you don't love golf, you go to this place and it doesn't look real. The grass looks fake. There's no trash. It's like 350 acres of a park that nobody goes to. And there's thousands of people on there, and it's just pristine. And then you start talking golf, and the Rory's jacking up the first day and chipping the ball in the water, which I couldn't believe. And then there's just a lot of drama that goes around it. I'm kind of disappointed that the LIV players are still kind of dropping the ball. They all look like they're gaining weight. Their wallets are fat, and they're not playing much golf. And they come into a major, and most of them are either missing a cut or not really relevant. But it's going to be a great event. Crazy enough, I've got all sorts of pools, but I picked Justin Rose in one pool and I picked Bryson in another pool. So I got a lot of stew on the line to watch this thing. So I wish they would, let me ask you guys this. Why in the hell is someone not showing this all day long? I mean, you got to stream it over here. I mean, really?
Yeah, that's been the Masters. The Masters have done that forever. And I get it back in the day. You just kind of, you waited till 3:00, but in this new day and age, I mean, ESPN Plus, shows you a couple featured groups throughout the day, and you can watch, Amen Corner. But yeah, it is frustrating, especially I work from home a lot of the time, and I just want to watch it all day long. And the coverage yesterday was crazy. Bryson DeChambeau was having an amazing round. He could not sniff any coverage, John. And that's what they're talking about. Phil, there's definitely a LIV bias out there. And I don't care who you are. Bryson DeChambeau is fun to watch. And when he's climbing up the leaderboard as such as yesterday, they need to show him more.
Define the LIV for our fans and listeners. Define the LIV bias.
So, Jay, you can probably talk about
LIV it's a Saudi-based league that just started poaching PGA Tour players. So John Rahm got $560 million. Brooks Koepka got $150 million. Bryson DeChambeau got 100. Phil got 200. These guys, they've spent over $2 billion. This is the fourth year of this existence. They play a 3-round tournament, 14 events a year. They're wearing shorts. They're playing music, which, look, I love shorts. I love music. But, I mean, somewhere along the line, you kind of got to act like a professional. And, you know, they're playing, they finally got a TV deal this year, John, with Fox. But, you know, their numbers are awful. And, I mean, they had 80,000 people watch one for the entire week. So it's just kind of this renegade league that Saudi's just trying to buy golf. And now all the players, Rahm, Koepka, DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, now they all want to come back. But they took their bag, and all the other guys said, no, you know, we're going to stay. We're going to stick with the PGA Tour. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they also sued the PGA Tour the first year, you know, because we were treating them unfairly. It's a bunch of whiny, rich golfers bitching about stuff that is completely irrelevant. Let's play the game and let your scores do the talking for you. And great, you took the money. I don't blame you. I wish the Saudis would have. I had $4. If they would have come to me and said, dude, we're going to give you $20 million. I'm like, right. I'm signing. And then I take my medicine, whatever. But you can't have it both ways. There's no way. They offered Tiger $800 million and Rory $700 million to go, and they both turned it down. And now the boys want to come back.
Now and Matthew, I know you followed as well. I mean, you know, they took some non-star players, but they took some stars over there, and you're starting to see, with Cam and Rahm, you're starting and Dustin Johnson in the twilight of his career, you're starting to see superstars fade away. Jay just brought it up. Jon Rahm is a shell of himself. He was the number one player in the world. He was Scotty Scheffler before Scotty Scheffler. He goes to live, and this guy can't even compete, and he's so frustrated. I think there's some real world implications.
He also told everybody, boys, I'm not taking the money. I'm not taking the money. Oh, he said something that was really insulting. $400 million isn't really going to change my life. Really? Come on, dude. And then he took it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, most of these guys not performing, I think you could say it's age for majority of them. I mean, they're past the primes of their career, but you hit it spot on. Jon Rahm is the interesting one because he looks like he's miserable. But I think Jay hit it spot on. They play in shorts. It's 3 rounds. It's all music. It's a party. It's not real golf. Like, he has no competitiveness all year. Then he gets to these majors, and he's just lost it. I mean, not even remotely close to the same guy. Liv is out here. Phil Mickelson is saying Joaquin Niemann is the best golfer in the world. Dude's T40 as we speak at the moment. They're like, it's like, guys, just
the Joaquin Niemann stuff is just hilarious. I mean, like if you stayed on the tour, you may have got to that point, but you didn't. You left.
You can win the frat boy tour. Like, no, you're not winning real golf tournaments. He doesn't compete in majors. The only one that I think has benefited from this is Bryson. And you can make the debate. He treats Liv as a second job. He's out here doing YouTube golf with all the celebrities. But I mean, then he comes in for his four events, finishes top 10 in every major. The people like him. I think he is the only one that, looking back at it, could say this was a great move for him. Brooks has fallen apart. Rahm is miserable. I mean, it's painful to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing's just a joke. Bryson's the only one that came out on top here.
But Bryson's also busting his ass, guys. He's working hard, and he's got that weird scientific mind where he's doing all sorts of stuff that we golfers are like, dude, what is wrong with you? And it obviously works for him. I mean, every iron in his bag, you guys, is the same length.
I know that's absolutely nuts. Kyle, I think we're spending too much time talking about these live players. I mean, the number one storyline right now is absolutely Rory McIlroy. And Rory, for those that don't know, he's looking for the career Grand Slam. He's won every other major. He has not got the Masters, and he's come close a few times. But wow, it's been a decade since he's won a major, which is unbelievable to me. I saw him win the U.S. Open in Congressional when he won by like 13 strokes. I was there the final day for that, and you just thought he was the next Tiger Woods. He has a first round where up until hole 14, he played phenomenal. Up until hole 15, the third shot, he played phenomenal. He gave a bunch back after the first round, ended up with an even round, but just dominated yesterday. Kyle, are you rooting for old Rory to get his career Grand Slam?
I'm rooting for Rory. I watched him yesterday shoot a 66. So coming off of the 72 where he had some blunders late in the round, I think that everybody wrote him off. I kept hearing the news like what's going on with Rory and all this stuff. But I mean, golf is a long game. You got a lot of rounds. You get to make up for it. He did that, and I'm rooting for Rory. So I'm team Rory over here, and I like Bryson a lot too. So.
I know you look down the leaderboard and just look for an American flag. I know you're not rooting for Rory.
I'm rooting for Rory.
No, John, I know you are. John's looking over it. He's like, oh, Canadian, Brit, Spaniard.
Well, I think they all got to pay the tariffs for coming.
I've been waiting. One hour 26 minutes in. That's the first tariff comment.
I want a reciprocal tariff on every dime they make, especially the money that Vladimir Guerrero just signed with the Blue Jays. 30% of that should go back to the United States Treasury on a tariff. So, look, to me, I just got to read this comment by one of our avid listeners, Lori in Columbus, who says LIV is like flag football.
Pretty good.
You go to the games, you drink a couple beers, it's like slow pitch softball, right? You're playing rock music, you're drinking beers, you all got a belly, and then somebody hits with a 300-foot homer.
Well, slow pitch softball gets more ratings than they do.
But one comment you guys made that I'm not a golf. I don't follow it, so I don't have anything to add here other than Lori's comment. Other than the fact, I think somebody said, "Why isn't it on TV like 24/7?" And okay, you go to ESPN3, and I've got like Bundesliga leagues or something I've never heard of. I'm like, why doesn't ESPN3 just put a camera there and have the thing on 24 hours a day? Even in the evening, you can see the birds and stuff. It just should roll 24 hours. We'll take our TV. Maybe I'll talk to Ann next year. I'll say, Ann, we'll take our TV channel on Roku Fire Stick and just get rid of the John
sneak it. Yeah, sneak it in. Yeah,
get a camera there. Just apply for credentials. Get a camera. Get 3 crews, 8 hours a day, and just film the whole thing 24/7. Our ratings are probably set a record.
And the copyright, right? Yeah, this Masters, the dudes will come after you, and you'll never have a radio network again.
Be able to find you, John.
Yeah. You might as well be that amateur that peed in Ray's Creek.
Where'd he go?
Jay,
I'll be where Matthew was with that wall behind me. What did
Jay,
you call it?
Jay,
heaven.
Jay, all right, Jay. I just brought it up. That amateur from Arizona State, Jose Luis Ballester, or whatever his name is, made a name for himself after the first round. Not only he was going viral already because he wore. Matthew and Kyle probably know what is a script hat. I don't even know what it is. It's a reversed Arizona State lettering hat.
He's wearing the upside down Sun Devils hat, peeing in Creek. It was a very Arizona State-esque day.
Dude, I was trying to figure
lived
that
up to the
out.
school
Matthew, I should have called you. I'm like, what in that? Why did they do that backwards?
Well, and then I saw the outrage, and it's not the first time, but I felt really old because I think the tweet was like, yo, the Riz on this guy's a little sus with his script hat. And I was like, I don't know what any of that meant. Not one thing. But then he's going viral all day long. And then in his press conference, he's like, I was waiting for what's his name to putt. So he took a pee in Ray's Creek. John, Ray's Creek is, it's mystical. Is that dude going to be allowed? He played yesterday. Is he going to be allowed
back? River too, Mitch. I had to pee really bad, so I thought I'd just go in the river. And I'm like, dude, where are you? I got to tell you, it was kind of refreshing because the rich white guys down there just control everything. You guys, I swear, every inch of that place is surveilled. John, if you take a cell phone out of your pocket, they come in, they take your ticket, they take you right off the property. Not even if it's on. It doesn't have to be on.
Banned for life too.
Yeah, banned for life. I mean, these guys, it's like the Gestapo over there for golf. So
Yeah, but somebody told me who's there. Somebody told me that, you pay all this money to get in, but they told me that there's free parking. Like they could charge like a $500, right? Free parking. And then they said when you go in to eat, it's like sandwiches are like $1.10. Like,
they are.
You can buy like 18 sandwiches. It's like $20, and they're all
beer is
white
$6.
label.
A beer costs $6. They raised it $1 off last year's prices.
Well, and I think that goes back to why traditionally they didn't air the coverage until like 2 or 3 o'clock. They want what I brought the mystique. They want kind of the people that won the lottery or the corporate sponsors and the players to kind of have their own time without all the TV coverage. And they've just tried to make that a unique thing to their tournament. I respect it. But as someone that's nowhere near Augusta, Georgia, come on, give me some more coverage. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I can do ESPN 3, but when you don't show me Bryson yesterday one time, it's kind of ridiculous. And we've skipped over the man who has led after the first round 5 different times, a man that I wouldn't cash in my parlay in time and I would lose money on because, what the heck, but Justin Rose, man, Olympic gold medalist.
65-1, Mitchie. 65-1 to lead after 1 round, and I didn't play it.
You didn't do it?
No, I looked at it.
Why don't you call me, Jay? I'd have done it. You got to phone it down. Where's the love, dude? Pick up the phone and, you got a phone and a pen. Call me up. Say, hey, dude, I got to play for you here. Justin Rose after first round, 65-1. Take a shot. You bet $100, you win $6,500. I mean, that takes care of a lot of Astros.
And so if you have a bet on him to win the whole tournament, while he's had these 5 leads, he's never won. And perhaps if he just, found this bottle of Healthy Cell, he may be able to finish this tournament out and maybe get this thing done for the first time in his career.
First thing you need to do is get a good night's sleep. This is the key to life, right? I get up at 3:30 every day. I'm 67. Anybody else here get up at 3:30 every day, 5 days a week, right?
Go to the bathroom.
Right?
Yeah, I'm always up, yeah.
I got to have, I got events at night. Like, I don't go to bed at like 6:30. I got stuff I got to do. I got to go here, go there. I'm at the White House every day, right? We got a new TV show going there, 2:30 to 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, coming out of the White House right on the lawn on Pebble Beach. I have to get a good night's sleep or I can't survive. I mean, not only can I not be effective, it's bad for my health. I've got to sleep soundly. And that's why, guys, I can only do this job and I only feel the way I do because of REM sleep from Healthy Cell. If you're not taking this, you're nuts, because what it's going to do, it's all natural, puts you in the five deep sleep categories. You're going to sleep like a baby, you got to jump out of bed, you're replenished, you're ready to go. I get about 6 hours, six and a half on a good night. If I'm tossing and turning, I'm worthless the next day. I've got to get a deep sleep. It's all natural. All I got to do is go to healthycell.com/Godzilla, healthycell.com. Get your REM sleep today. Promo code Godzilla. You get 20% off. And if these golfers take this, they're going to get a good night's sleep. And I tell you what, the difference, the difference. And it's not like it takes 2 weeks or a month. It takes 15 minutes. Take this thing 15 minutes before you go to bed. You're going to go right out, get a deep sleep, wake up replenished. healthycell.com/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, get 20% off. Get a box. You know what? It's going to change the way you feel every single day. Sleep is underrated. It is so critical, but it's the kind of sleep you get that matters with Healthy Cell. Get your REM sleep today.
You're listening live to Godzilla Wins. You may be on Roku, Getter, on all these radio stations. You can also get our podcast on Spotify and wherever podcasts are sold. It's an exciting time right now for Masters talk, baby. And we will get to some hockey in a little bit and some picks later down the line. But Jay, I'm looking at this leaderboard, and if you're a fan of golf, it is the most stacked leaderboard in a major I've seen in a long time. And there is someone back there lurking that may be, Bubba had the best golf season in history last year, which was ridiculous to say. But Scotty Scheffler is 5 under. scuffled around a little bit. Scotty Shuffle was out and about in the first round, but he got it together yesterday. He could make a legit run here. Looking at that leaderboard, what do you think Scheffler's chances are, and who else could end up creeping once we know Justin Rose comes back to earth?
Well, today on tour we call it moving day, and this is the way you kind of get yourself situated for trying to win this thing. The two most compelling stories for me are to see what Scotty Scheffler does, because he hasn't won this year. He's been world number one for 100 and something weeks. And I got a kick out of somebody said into my show the other day, Scotty's the best player since Tiger Woods. And I said, well, yeah, almost. If he can stay number one in the world for another 10 years, he'll equal what the great Tiger Woods did. So, dude, don't even bring that over here yet. He's great. Don't get me wrong. And I'd love to see him win. But Rory is the biggest compelling story for me. We'll get to Justin Rose in a minute. But the scars that Rory has, you guys, from the near misses on this stage, it's brutal. And I'll tell you the biggest reason why. The Masters is the only venue that doesn't change every year. So, guys, we go play the U.S. Open. We played Pebble Beach one year and Oakmont this year and all these other places. The same with the PGA Championship and the same with the Open Championship in Europe. Every spring, we go to Augusta. We play Augusta National. Everybody knows where the flags are going to be. Everybody knows how to punch break. They know what they need to do. It's the biggest mind screw you can possibly deal with. And Rory's got all these scars that he's got to overcome. And that's, he's playing better than anybody right now, you guys. He drives the ball. If you ever watch Rory drive the ball, you think he skies it because he launches the ball at an angle like this. You're like, God, that can't go very far. And it goes 350. I can't see past 200. But it goes for 350. So
who should we bet?
That is unbelievable. And
so who should we bet?
He's got all the aces, but I don't know, man. It's gonna, and we're giving no love to Justin Rose. Justin Rose should have won in 17 when Sergio won.
Yeah,
he could have won, but. Man, trying to get this thing done across the finish line, it is like car with no gas and leaky, wobbly tires. You see a lot of wild stuff at the finish here.
Yeah, Matthew Lumsden, I'm thinking you can probably hit it about 300 with your baseball prowess. Are you a stick at golf? Oh, didn't hear me.
Matthew, how far do you launch it off the tee? You're 350 probably.
Matthew doesn't have audio.
We don't have. So Kyle, I know you've been watching the Masters as well. Kyle looks like you play some golf. You look like you could smash a golf ball.
No, I'm a top golf guy. I can hit it pretty hard, but not no real golf. I
love it.
Yeah, but the same thing. I'm looking at. Are you looking at the same people? When you see Scotty Scheffler just a few strokes back, but then the people in between him with Bryson DeChambeau and McIlroy and Rose, that's going to be a tough feat for Scheffler to win another green jacket.
He's only 3 strokes behind. We could see that in these next 2 rounds. We could see him make some noise. Scotty Scheffler, he's world number one for a reason. I just don't think that anybody's going to be overcome. Rory, he's hot right now. I think Rory's playing the best golf. He's hitting the ball the best. So I think that Rory's the guy. So, John, if you ask me who to bet, Rory McIlroy. I know he's not your American, but Rory.
Well, listen, I just want to win the bet. I don't care if he's American or not. I got to get the money back you cost me on McNeese State that got blown out. I turned the game on. You take the 8.5. I turned the game on. They're down by 50. I'm like, okay, well, now I got to get my money back from Kyle. So Rory's at plus 330. So maybe I'll take a shot. Is that what you guys think? I got to take a shot here.
I'm scared to make picks. You have real world receipts. You're going to come back at us if we give you a wrong pick. It's
no,
not
because
cool.
If everybody did that with me, they'd never tune me in. Right?
That's true.
I picked Duke, Houston. I'm like the loser city. A week ago, my son Jack, who's off today, had it right. Hockey, baseball, Dad's really, really good. You get the basketball, you get the NCAA, just fade everything he does. Just fade him, and you can basically retire, right? You don't need to buy gold. You don't need to buy stocks. Forget the stock market. Forget tariffs. You just fade me, and basically you retire. I don't think I won a basketball bet all season.
You're listening to the Godzilla Win Pick Show. We're going to get some picks in at the end. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by Jay Delsing, John Fredericks, Matthew Lumsden, Kyle Carrington. Matthew, I think you got some audio back working again. We were just noting your baseball, profile, your wide shoulders. We were talking about people that can hit a ball over 300 yards. I'm assuming you've got a smash of a drive. Am I assuming correct with your master shirt on?
I would say distance is there. If I'm teeing off on one, it might end up on the 18th fairway, but it's going to go. It's going to go. Yeah, but no, I heard what Jay was saying about Rory, but it's kind of like it's like that high school, college thing when all your buddies are telling you about that ex-girlfriend, like, hey, remember what happened last time? And then you're like, no, I swear it's changed. Has it though? I mean, every year you get to the weekend with the Masters, he's changed. It's a changed thing, but like, I don't know if I'm behind it yet. I got to see Rory perform before I can really give in on that one. And then for Scotty, I mean, I think he played 12, 13, and 14 yesterday. 12, he put it in the Flowers. 13, put it in Rays Creek, and shot 2 under on the 3-hole stretch. And it was like, had a terrible day, 5 bogeys, and he's 3 back. That would be concerning if I was in front of him right now. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
I'm going to go with Kyle here. I'm going to take Rory at 320, 330 now, plus 330. I'm going with him. I'm going with Kyle. Kyle's going to get me even. He's going to get me out of the hole.
Man, Jay, man,
you need to change your number, bro. This doesn't go through.
Jay, what do you think about taking like a flyer on someone like Corey Connors, who's been playing so well? I gambled on. So what I like to do here, it's a pick show. I tend to take the round matchups and do head to head, and I'm up pretty big on them so far. I took Corey yesterday. He did not disappoint. Won me a couple points over there. What do you think about someone like Corey Connors or like Tyrrell Hatton, who's said he hates Augusta in his past before, and now he's kicking some butt right now?
Tyrrell Hatton is like the best interview of all time because he just has no filter. Yeah. And if you could drop F-bombs, he'd do it every third word. I mean, he's so fun to watch. He missed the putt yesterday this long, and he looked down at the green like there was something wrong with the green. I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with your putter. You missed it. It just aimed too far left. Corey Connors, Mitch, is a stripe show. He hits it. He probably hits it as good as anybody not named Rory McIlroy. His putting is where it just gets a little wonky. I love the dude. I tell you who's kind of a sleeper is Shane Lowry. Mm-hmm. He's Irish. He loves to drink beer. He loves to get out, and the guy has some slick hands. So those are guys that are, I don't. John, what's the current number for Shane Lowry? Do you still have that pulled up?
Yeah, hang on.
That would be
because nobody.
You guys, Corey Connors is 14-1. Shane Lowry 16-1.
Yeah,
16-1 to win the
those
thing.
two guys.
What do they got Scotty at?
Scotty was 3.5-1, 360-100. It's about 3.5-1. Not that far back from. I already put my bet in for Rory. Well, actually, I didn't put it. I have to send it to Ant. So I got cut off. After basketball, I got cut off, right? So I didn't win my 7-1 bet. I didn't win the Duke future. I lost money on the side to Morrissey. She's got to send him a check. So my NCAA was a complete catastrophe. So she cut me off, right? So now I haven't any money in my DraftKings account. So now I got to go to her to place the bet because she won't let me put any more money in. So I got to go to her. I got to text her, email her, bet these, and then that's all. She'll put them in as long as I'm ahead. But then I can't bet anything else. Like I can't just go on there and bet like in-game stuff because I can only place them once a day. So Ann has put me on a DraftKings probation. I'm cut off. I got to go through her. So I just emailed her and I said, "Yeah, bet $100 on Rory at 330-1, 330 at 3.3-1." So we'll see how that goes.
John, what state are you in now? I'm looking at my disclaimer. I'm trying to see which 1-800 number to give you.
No, Pittsburgh. I'm in Pittsburgh.
Okay. You're 1-800-327-5050 or visit hopeny.com if you want to. Interesting side note. My friend's son is graduating college and he had me on a documentary about gambling and he labeled me like the responsible gambler. And then I went on to lose, like, I don't know how much. And same thing, cut off, like borrowing, taking cash advances from the Visa, hitting all those things up to keep it out of my wife's. So right when he labeled me the responsible gambler, I just went degenerate, and so I probably have to go back and do some more.
That's the thing. You can't hide the money on this online. Now I can go to the casino here in Washington, and I get my little stipend there that she gives me if I'm, that I get, and then I can just go there and bet at the window. So that's even better because then you get the cash back. That's why I bet with Morrissey because he pays me in cash. But now I got to pay him, so we got to send him a check. So she's pissed at that. But the money's traced. It's like you can't get the money in without going through. And then she'll be like, why is your Visa card over? I just got a notice from Visa. Why is your Visa card over? What did you buy? Oh, I got a lot of things to buy at Washington. I took somebody to dinner.
Yeah, honey, it's interest only. Not on cash advances. That's 23%.
That's what you said. So you can't. There's nowhere to hide the money. So it's become a nightmare because I can't. So, and then you can't send them cash. It's like, okay, I saved my little stipend. I'm going to send DraftKings $150. It doesn't work that way. You got to put it on a traceable card. And so then, I get nailed, and then then I got to.
Have you guys tried Underdog yet?
What?
Have you tried Underdog yet?
Is this
what
a
the
new
hell's
site?
that?
I'm working a deal with those guys. J24 is a promo code, and they'll give you 50% of whatever.
Ding,
if
ding.
you put $100 in there, they'll give you $50.
What is it called?
Underdog.
What's the promo
Here,
code?
You have to buy a burner debit card from your local Exxon station to.
Those don't work though. You can't do that.
I know.
Right? You can't. But here's what I did figure out. I finally figured this out. You go to CVS.
Just
you go to
Underdog
CVS and you
put
can
the
get
promo code J24 and they'll give you up to $1,000.
J24.
Yeah, my brother, he's like, dude. Yeah. Anyway, that's probably for another show. We're getting into a little.
No, I love it, and and we've talked about this in the past. I'm more traditional gambler. I've got a bookie they used to call him, but like my minimum bets are like $50. I can't do those futures on Patrick Reed for $50. So now I've had to load up into one of these online accounts because I make fun of my friends that do the little $5 bets here and there.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
But if you're doing a bet long odds, you don't know who's going to win the tournament. Matthew, did you have anybody on Patrick Reed, Captain America? I mean, oh, come on, baby. I know he's live, but we got to give it to him. He's the rider master. You a P. Reed fan?
No, I can't pull the trigger there. My quote unquote long shots were it was JT playing good golf, and then I'm a big Minwoo Lee fan. So I like his distance, I like his around the green play. Putter can be hesitant at times, but I like to style coming into the weekend. They're both hanging around the 20.
Somebody describe their putter as hesitant. I've had a hesitant putter for like 10 years, where I'm like, this thing just doesn't want to fire, It's like, I'm scared.
I watched him miss the birdie putt yesterday from about 7. It was like 5-7 feet, and I just a slight hesitancy.
Yep.
Didn't want to pull the trigger. I was like,
that was great work.
And you know what? And that's why I like Bryson DeChambeau. What we used to think. What kind of used to turn us off to him, his scientific brain and everything. But yesterday, he just summed up his putter. He said, hey, me, I would take it back with a square face because I'm simply just letting it open and shut a little bit. And now my putting is remarkable. Jay, like in round adjustments like that are between weeks. That seems crazy to me, but like these guys, just like you, I mean, those things can make all the difference, right?
Well, the funny thing is, Mitch, is that when you go to your coach and he puts you on film, he's like, dude, you're not doing that. It's a feel.
Feels
you're
not
out
real.
on the, sometimes you're just looking for anything to try to figure out a way to just get a tiny bit better. And a lot of guys like Max Homa fall into this chasm, and he's like, Max is such a great dude and everybody roots for him, but it was awesome to see him make the cut. But this game just gets you. It's just, I was talking to Brad Faxon the other day. He coaches Rory with his putter and his short game. And I'm like, he talked to Rory after the first round and he's just playing great. He leaves it in a good spot, really, on 15.
He did.
He may not be able to get that ball up and down, but he sure as hell is not going to chip that in the water any other day but that day. And he just hit it a little thin. And so then there's a double bogey. Then that causes a double bogey on 17, and I said the facts. I'm like, why do we even like this game, man? Look at this gray hair and these wrinkles, and I can't remember where I parked my car. It's like, and it's so cruel. And it's all because that one time you win that one tournament, you get it gives you something back, and you feel like you're the king.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Well, and Kyle, I think the reason why people love this game, and Jay, you just brought up Max Homa. Max Homa kind of got internet famous he would critique people's swings on TikTok and Instagram the last few years, but then he caught fire and became a really good tour player. And people have followed it, rooted for him. He has struggled, hasn't made a cut in weeks and weeks. And for him to come back and make the cut, he has no chance of winning the tournament, but it was such a good storyline. It's someone I'm going to watch throughout this whole tournament. I think that's why we like, golf, not with just the leaders on the top of the board, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in life, a big thing is resiliency. So the fact that you go through in golf is from one hole to another, things could change so fast, but you have to be resilient. You have to be able to overcome that adversity and move on to the next hole. I mean, it's a lot of holes, and that's golf, and I think that's the beauty of the game.
All right, you're listening to Godzilla Wins. We're going to get to some hockey talk. Hey, early on the board, a couple dudes we talked about. John Rahm is 1 under and Joaquin Neiman -2. Live forever, baby. Go live. All right, today, if you're looking to follow the Masters, the leaders, about 240, 230, and then buckle in and have 6 hours of fun. The wives just love it when you just sit there and just watch golf until 9 o'clock at night. It is awesome. All right, we're going to pivot a little bit. We've got some playoffs coming up. Probably not going to get to the NBA, Kyle. I'm so sorry, Matthew. But hockey is in full force. And when I was driving home from Pittsburgh yesterday, and when I was also in Pittsburgh for the weekend, Alex Ovechkin was on the cusp of breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal record. And it was refreshing. I was in a local bar in just outside of Pittsburgh, and it was really cool. Other Penguins fans rooting for this because it looks like the Ovechkin, Crosby, Capitals, Penguins has moved more into that rivalry where it's a respect thing. Matthew, is that something you've been following? And tell me what Ovechkin's record just means to the NHL.
Yeah, no, that's a big time moment. I feel like that was definitely viewed as a borderline unbreakable record. Especially anything you can do better than Wayne Gretzky, that is a major pat on the back. That is for sure. I think the best tweet I saw about any of it was as soon as it happened that breaking news, Wayne Gretzky's within one goal of breaking Alexander Ovechkin's record. So that was a personal favorite, but no, that was a great thing for the game for Ovechkin. Congrats to him. I'll be curious to see how Washington
I will too. I mean, that's one thing. The Caps kind of struggled down the stretch here. They won their last game, so they're hoping that momentum will keep going as they get into the playoffs, John. But what Ovechkin, I mean, in 2010, 11, Ovechkin was kind of breaking down a little bit. I remember it was unattainable. And then he obviously this last decade that was not true, and that record is unbelievable. Kudos to Wayne Gretzky for following him around and being there for that moment. And Gretzky's seeing just a bunch of his records fall this year too. But what did you think about Ovechkin and Gretzky being there for the moment?
Well, first of all, before I get into that, before we run out of time, I really want to give a shout out, if I could do a sidebar here, to the Jay Delson Golf Show, which is on our network at 11 a.m. to noon on Saturday. And Jay, I'm not a golfer. I think I've played golf a handful of times. I like it. I just don't have time. But I'm not a golfer. I don't follow it except on our show. And I pick whoever you guys tell me, whether it's Kyle or Nate or whatever. But I listen to your show. It is so good, Jay. And I learn a lot, but it's funny. Jay Delsig is hilarious. The guest he's got on there is funny. The guy that is his sidekick there. It's real. You learn a lot and you get stories. The stories he tells are really funny. And the story about like Lee Trevino asking him for a cigarette and he didn't have one. And Trevino's like, rookie. So, I mean, all the stories are great. So if you have a chance, even if you're not a golf fanatic, his show on at 11 a.m. in our network is really, really good. So
keep going, John. This is awesome, man.
No, it's great. It
really
I'll
is because
take a walk and I'll put it on and like, it's hilarious. And I don't golf. I mean, I've played golf 5 times in my whole life. So it's just the stories are so rich. And they'll be like, they'll just pop in, like they'll be talking about something and it'll remind Jay of something. And then he goes into this story about how he got a flat tire going to some tournament. I mean, it's hilarious. And so anyway, Jay, keep up the super work. That's
thank you.
That's excellent. I'm sorry.
No,
I have no idea what your question was.
No, but you're right though. Jay's show. If you are a PGA fan at all, to have someone that was on tour and knows the behind the scenes stuff, for us nerds, it is fantastic. So I also second that motion. Definitely listen to it after here.
He's funny.
He is pretty funny.
We got Davis Love on this week, and Davis Love
that's my dad's favorite player.
Grove 23, which is Michael Jordan's golf course, and he goes, you think winning the PGA? He won the PGA Championship at Wingfoot in '97. He goes, you think winning a major championship is hard and pressure? You want MJ to stare at you when you screw up his golf course? You want to look at him, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to have anything to do with MJ.
My only Davis Love story. I saw Rory win the U.S. Open, and he was up by like 14 strokes. So it was just boring following him. So my dad and I, it's Father's Day. Davis Love is one of his favorite golfers. So we just stumbled upon him. He was by himself. There was no coverage at all. He's behind this tree. And he hits the most amazing shot that only me and my dad saw. There was no coverage of it. And just to watch these guys hook it around trees is just amazing. So, I'm going to check out the Davis Love show for sure. Pops, I know you're listening. I know we're probably running out of time a little bit, but NHL about to hit the playoffs here.
This is going to be I cannot wait for the NHL playoffs. I can't remember how excited I was about just the Stanley Cup playoffs. You got 12 teams in here that can win this thing. I got 2 futures bets that I bet at the beginning of the season. You all made fun of me. Toronto Maple Leafs. I told you this was not your father's Leafs. They got a defense. Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg is going to win this whole thing. But the Caps at home are tough. I mean, you go right down the thing. Carolina, the Devils, Dallas, Colorado. Don't count them out. I like the Jets because they play like the most boring hockey known to man. They plot around with defense. They try to score 3 goals and beat you 3-2. They got the best goalie in the history of the world, but he stinks in the playoffs. They're made for Stanley Cup hockey. I love the Jets to win this thing, but this thing is wide open. It's going to be fun, and don't count out the Leafs.
I like it, Kyle. You've been following the NHL playoffs at all? Any wild cards that could make a run here?
I wouldn't say wild cards, but I got the Dallas Stars versus the Capitals in the finals. That's my finals. I'm rooting for Ovechkin to get one. So,
yeah, Matthew, that's my nightmare. That is my legit nightmare. I'm fine and dandy with Ovechkin, and we're all ho-hum. I'm a Penguins fan here. If that bastard gets another cup, then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, well, Crosby's not better than him. And now, what are we rooting for here in the NHL playoffs?
Well, I'm a huge Oilers fan, so obviously McDavid, 7 points in his 2 games since return. We sent Stuart Skinner packing. He's hurt, I think. Whatever. I think we got a chance. But no, I'm with Kyle. I like the Stars. I think they're legit. Jake Ottinger is a stud. And then I've got to fade someone here today. I've always got to be on the flip side. I'm big on the Senators, and they're going to get the Maple Leafs round 1. So I'm excited for the Canadian matchup. I think the Sens pulled that one out.
The Leafs. You guys are counting. The Leafs have got. Why do you guys give no love? They got 100 points. They play defense. You're all thinking about the Leafs of the past. They get beat in the first round of the playoffs. They don't have a defense. They get beat 8-6 every game. Not going to happen, guys. And Toronto, I tell you what, they're hungry. You go in to Toronto right now in a playoff game, that place is going to be rocking like mad. I think
you guys are sleeping on the best team in hockey since the Four Nations. The Blues won 12 in a row.
The Blues.
Don't count out the Blues either. You're right.
If we can get Holloway and Parayko back,
Binnington
play the Blues.
And Connor McDavid 70 assists for the 7th time, beating Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. Another feat falls off. He's losing all sorts of records. Crosby had the points 20 years with the points and the games record. Okay, we're running up against it. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. We need to make some picks. probably run around the horn and just take one each until we run out of time. What do you think? Hey, John, do you have a best bet today?
Yeah, I like one game. I like Miami Marlins today. I think, remember, Arcadia was so good 2 seasons ago. He just had a bad season. Things didn't work. His arm hurt. He's back. Marlins are a sneaky good team. Don't count them out. They got 7 wins. They're above 500. They're hitting now. They're very tough at home. I like Miami today minus 160.
All right, Kyle, how are you going to make people's pockets bigger today?
I'm going to stay in the Miami Washington Nationals game, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go no runs first inning. Sandy Alcantara versus Trevor Williams. I'm going to go no runs first inning for the Washington Nationals and Marlins game.
Ooh, I like that. Matthew, what are you thinking here today?
I'm going to give you guys 2 afternoon picks that nobody will watch because we'll be locked on golf. But I like the Tigers at plus 110 at 2 o'clock. Chris Paddock is terrible. The Twins are not very good. And then at 4 o'clock, this is strictly speculative, but I like the Los Angeles Kings. The Avs already have their seed locked up. The Kings are still playing for home ice, so they don't have to go to Edmonton, and they got way more to play for.
Where is that game?
Get that done today. That game is in LA, so it's a home game, and the Avs are packing. The Avs are packing it in. Their seed's locked. There's nothing to play for.
All right, Jay, real quick, because we're bleeding into your show.
Guys,
what do you want?
Take the Phillies today. They're playing the Cardinals. Miles Michaelis throws softballs up there. The Phillies are going to score 14 runs today.
Awesome. I can blame Jay if he's talking in our show and bleeds into his show. That's his fault. Hey, take the Pirates today. I know it's weird. Minus 192. Andrew Heaney's.
Get out of here. Nobody's betting the Pirates.
Pirates, baby. Take them to the bank.
Call the number.
I want to thank you all again for listening to the Godzilla Win Pick Show. I'm Mitch Rogers. Thank you, Jay, John, Kyle, and Matthew. What a fun show. Can't wait to see you all next week and enjoy the Masters today. Have a great afternoon.
Good job, Mitch.